Your job journey, like after you did your PhD, how much time it took you to get a job and what was the process?
So even with masters, you can get job, but with PhD, I think a lot of big companies, even the smaller companies, like they all need PhDs.
Okay. Did you do any internship while you were doing your PhD here?
No, I didn't have that chance. But I definitely, it could have been much better if I had done an internship. But I didn't have a chance.
What was the reason you chose industry rather than academia? Job market is so uncertain right now. So what do you think about it?
It's not that bad, but definitely there are some.
There is a recession period. There are so many layoffs that are happening. Do you think like being a PhD in a company is going to make you a better fit to not get laid off from your job?
On which projects they are removing, and if they don't have a funding for a project, they will stop that project, and whoever is on that project will be laid off. So far, what I have seen, it's mostly the master's student who got laid off, but I have also seen big companies laying off PhD students.
For example, there is one person who after getting PhD from here wants to go back to India. Do you think it will be a good decision for him or her and start their career there instead of here? Like, what would be the difference they might think in terms of salaries or in terms of the progression in their career they might have in comparison to both countries? Also in terms of salaries, is it going to be similar or is it going to be very different?
I'm not sure so why that person is going to India and what kind of benefits that person is getting, right? So I'll tell you an example.
You know, right now I'm in such a dilemma that when I first joined PhD, even I have told you maybe when we were talking that I really want to be in academia, not in industry. But now my thinking has changed. Now I want to be in industry, and it might change in like next 1 year as well because I haven't made up my mind. So when did you make up your mind that you want to be in industry?
But even I thought of the same thing.
So when are you coming back to India? For how long you can come? And any advice to the students who are coming, who are joining as a PhD student or who are just going to graduate from PhD? Any advice? Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we have Dr. Nandakumar. He is doing a job. Get to know about it later. So he was my senior when I first came here. I met him and he guided me which lab I should consider and everything. And that time he just graduated from his PhD and now he's doing a job. So would you like to introduce yourself, Dr. Nandakumar?
So my name is Nandakumar Karakam. You can call me Nanda. So I graduated from Texas Tech University with a PhD in organic chemistry in 2023 August. Then I moved to Delaware for work, and currently I'm working in Affinity Research Chemicals. It's a CRO. So far it's going well, and actually by yesterday I completed 1 year at work.
Okay. Are you enjoying your job?
Yes, I really like my job. It's actually very similar to what I did in my PhD. Mostly we use the existing chemistry to make very new molecules, and we deliver them to the biochemists, and they do the test, biological tests.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would be asking you some questions about the job market right now, because as we know that job market is so uncertain right now. So what do you think about it?
I think the job market will. There might be more openings in the coming future. It is not that bad, but definitely there are some the big companies are cutting on some projects which they have started. They might have started during the COVID. During the COVID, they want to make some drugs, so they might have started making new projects. And now that there is not much COVID now, those projects are being cut down. So Except that one, I think the job market will be picking up soon.
Okay, but right now there is a recession period. There are so many layoffs that are happening. Do you think like being a PhD in a company is going to make you a better fit to get to not get laid off from your job?
I think it does not depend whether you're a PhD student or master student. It depends on which projects they are removing or stopping.
Mhm.
And if they don't have a funding for a project, they will stop that project, and whoever is on that project will be laid off. So it's not like if you're a PhD student, you will not be if you will not be laid off, or if you're a master student, you will not be laid off. It's not like that. But so far, what I have seen is it's mostly the master student who got laid off. But I have also seen the big companies laying off PhD students.
Mhm. Okay, so tell me more about.
When you're about to graduate, like you know it like before 6 months, right? So like you talk to your research advisor, and you tell him that you want to graduate, and if he says like you have enough data, then then you're ready to graduate. Then you defend your PhD and ready to graduate. But like before you even defend, you start looking for jobs. I would say the good timing is like 4 to 6 months before, because when you want to write your dissertation, like you're going to write whatever you did in your 4 to 5 4.5 years, right? If you start writing it before 6 months, so it's a continuous process during that last 6 months. So you start searching for the job, and simultaneously you start writing. So a lot of students, they just prepare your normal resume, but you need to read the job description very well, and you need to include the terms in your resume. Uh, and most students, they don't do it. There are a lot of resources on campus. So, for example, so uh, like right now you are doing PhD at Texas Tech University. So there is a
Yeah.
University Career Center. We call that UCC. So if you open that website, there are a lot of resources. You can even book a slot with one of the professional there, and you can like you can get help how to tailor your resume according to the job description, and they can even help you tailor the research statements or even like personal statements. So like most of the students, like they don't utilize these things which are on campus, but like if you attend any workshop on campus, so that will actually help you a lot, and it will make your job process much easier. At least like when you're applying, when you want to make some document, uh,
Mhm.
like you actually need help with some typos or corrections, then they will help you.
Okay. And do you think making connections and network is really important in landing a job here?
Yeah, I would say it's very important. So you can do networking is very important, definitely, and especially in the current job scenario, because
Mhm.
if you know someone who is already working at a company, then like sometimes you do not even have to apply for a job if it's a small company. They can refer you, and you will get the call, and like then you can move forward. So, and you can do networking in two ways. One thing is going by going to internship, and the other one is by going to conferences.
Yeah. I was also talking with my professor about this thing, like networking and everything. So he was telling me, like, networking is really important. There are so many companies that you can find when you go to a conference. They have their own booth where they are looking for like their prospective employees. So that's how you can network and you can find a job there.
Yes. So, so if you plan to go to so since we are chemistry, we mostly go to American Chemical Society conferences. It is not
Yeah.
just about going there and listening to talking about your research or listening to someone's research, but there are also many workshops. So you can also get guidance from them as well. Like there are some professionals who will actually help you, even like to talk about your resume, if, to also to talk about like what you want to do after your PhD.
Okay. Did you do any internship while you were doing your PhD here?
No, I didn't have that chance. But yeah, I definitely it could have been much better if I had done an internship. But yeah, I didn't have a chance.
Okay. So, is it good to do an internship if you want to do an industry job, or it is also going to be beneficial if you do internship if you want to be in academia later on?
Either way, I would say it is beneficial because if you do internship, like you will also make some contacts outside of the academia. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go to for a conference like ACS meeting, like you will mostly meet people who are in the academia. But if you go to internship, you'll make some contacts in the industry, so that might help you later when you want to apply for a job. Either way, it's like if you want to go for academia or industry, it will be helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And why didn't you do postdoc?
So, uh, so, uh, so during my PhD, what I realized is whatever you're doing, like it's mostly the work you're doing, it's mostly restricted to publishing papers. Very maybe very small amount will actually go into some application towards application to make a
Mm-hmm.
job. Like maybe like you'll be developing a methodology, or you'll develop a methodology to make a already existing natural product. Uh, but if you go to industry, you actually you'll actually help making a product that can reach people.
Yeah. You were a synthetic chemist, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was the reason you chose industry rather than academia?
Oh, this is actually the same answer. This is it's the same answer because so if you go to academia, academy, if you're in the academia, you'll be mostly doing research that will end up in a published paper. But if you go to industry, you'll be developing a product that
Mm-hmm.
that might be utilized by people.
Okay. And is it difficult to get a job after PhD because of the market conditions right now? Is it difficult?
Uh, uh, it might be it might be a little bit difficult right now, but I think it is not that bad. I think there are still a lot of job openings. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Even with masters, you can get job, but with PhD, I think a lot of big companies, even the smaller companies, like they all need PhDs because if you uh, so if you are with a masters, you mostly like will be repeating a procedure, but when you have a PhD, you develop a lot of
Mm-hmm.
skills such as critical thinking, uh, whatever the skills that the skills that you have acquired, you'll be utilizing them, and also uh, you're actually trained to trained to do the critical thinking. So during the whole 5 years, so this will actually help. This will actually help in the when you go for industry.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you think that being an international student, you face more challenges than a domestic student while uh, finding a job, even after PhD?
Uh, so yes. So when you find as an international student, when you want to find a job in the industry, it might be a little bit difficult because a lot of companies, they want to hire people who does not need any sponsorship. So maybe you will have a little bit difficulty in that area, but there are still many jobs. So let's say uh, if you apply for maybe like 100 jobs, you will get at least 20 calls. Uh,
Okay, I don't know if I should ask you this while it is recording. I mean, you can say no if you don't want to answer it. What is the salary range one can expect after PhD in chemistry?
oh, uh, I think at least you can expect 80K per year. And
Starting one.
yes, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it might be from maybe like so it also depends on the city. It's not just so if you're if the company is located in a very remote area, then the salary might be less
Mm-hmm.
because the cost of living is very less in that place. So because I was interviewed by one of the company. It's located in a very remote area. So they were just offering a 60,000 per annum,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a very very isolated place.
Okay. But don't you think that 60,000 is very less? Even a postdoc can make $60,000.
So if you're making 60,000, you'll be end up paying less than $1,000 for a very good apartment in that small city. But if you're living in city like California, so you'll end up
Mm-hmm.
spending more than maybe like 2 to 3,000 for one bedroom apartment in California. But if it's a small town, then you'll be paying maybe like less than $1,000 or around $1,000.
So what you're saying is 60,000 in a remote place is equal to 120K in California or like big cities.
I
It is equivalent.
I would not to maybe not to 120K, but to 80,000 to 100,000. Yeah.
Okay. Very well. So another one is I think it is the one that you already answered, but I'm going to ask you in a different way.
Okay.
So if you don't have an internship while you were doing PhD or masters, is it difficult to get a full-time job later on? Or it doesn't matter that much?
So it definitely will not hinder you. So having not so if you don't have internship, it will definitely not hinder you in any way to get a job. But let's say if a company is looking for a position and if they were and there are two people who cleared all the rounds, and when it comes to choosing among those two, if one has an internship and the other one does not have, so the company will most likely uh, recruit the one who has internship, right? So it is, I would say, in the ideal situation, it's better to an ideal candidate might have an internship, so that will actually benefit that candidate.
Mm-hmm. And do you think, because there are so many students I have met who have done a research based job when they were in India and then came here for PhD, do you think that experience in industry is going to be counted when they are going to find a job after their PhD? Is
Uh,
it going to help them in any way?
so so if you have experience in any other country, that will definitely help you because the company knows that you already worked in the industry. You know how it works,
Mm-hmm.
everything like with all the teams and stuff. So that will definitely like that will actually definitely push your resume forward. Yeah.
Okay. Do you consider going back to India sometime for
Uh,
job, or like do you think doing job here is much better?
so it depends. So it depends on the benefits. It's not just about one factor. So if you take anything, there are several factors that can impact your life. So right now, first I would like to focus on getting some experience. Then I will decide on uh, like if I want to stay here or like move back.
Okay, so for example, there is one person who, after getting PhD from here, wants to go back to India. Do you think it will be a good decision for him or her and start their career there instead of here? Like, what would be the difference they might think in terms of salaries or in terms of the uh, progression in their career they might have in comparison to both countries? Also, in terms of salaries, is it going to be similar or is it going to be very different?
So, like I said, depends on the benefits. So, I'm not sure like why why that person is going to India and uh, like what kind of benefits that person is getting, right? So I'll tell you an example which I saw. So one of the he was one of the person whom I met here. He was a postdoc at
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech University, and he moved back to India and he got a job. The company paid for his whole family to move back to India, and
Mm-hmm.
they were paying at least like 50 percentage. So they were paying. They're actually paying to his kids. Like they were paying like half of the amount for the school, and they were paying for the medical and all this stuff. So uh, if that is the case, then if there are a lot of benefits, and it also depends on like where you want to live. Uh, so let's say I think it doesn't make much difference because so let's say if you're in the US and there are not many benefits uh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at the job you're working, and it's a lot of work, then what will you choose? You will choose a place where that's more suitable for you, right?
Yeah, that is true. So it is a bad decision to go back to India if you have done a PhD or a postdoc. I also think
No, I'm
the
not
same
saying
way,
it's not a bad
actually.
decision, but also one must realize.
No, but it is going to be a decision for it because I was talking to someone and he was telling me that he also did a PhD and then postdoc and he is now a professor in some university and in here in US, and I was talking to him and he was like it is a very uh, I mean, also it is a personal choice if you want to stay here and if you want to go back to India. But in terms of career and progression, it is better if you stay here instead of going back because there you might have so many difficulties because he is a professor in US and his friend is a professor in Indian university, like a private university. And the difference is the research grant that he is getting in US is much, much more than what that person is getting in India. So that also depends.
So anyone should realize most of the projects, even if they're working in India, the projects they come from US. So the funding, do you understand what I mean? So the funding
No.
is already all. So if a project is coming from here to the Indian company, so the money is
Mm-hmm.
coming from here, right?
Yeah, from US.
So so definitely that salary might be less. So you have the money
Yeah,
from here.
it might be a controversial thing to say, like, you shouldn't go back or you should stay here. I get it.
Yeah,
Okay. So another thing is, I got confused which was the next question now. I'm asking you questions like randomly. I'm not
okay.
following the correct order.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm so sorry. Okay, the another one is, do you think a person who is coming here for masters, should they consider taking a loan? Like, will it be a wise decision for them to take a loan because of the market condition? Because it is like they are taking a bet if they'll get a job or not. So, do you think it will be a wise decision for them?
Uh, I would say it's not a bad idea to get a loan, but it's also important. Like you try to find a on-campus job for a master student. Like there are actually many positions that are available on campus. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning, people might not be aware of the positions, but like you can check every email that comes from the university. They actually these job postings are also in the emails, but once they have this on-campus job, they do not have to get more and more like they don't have to get the loan again for every semester. Once they have the job, they can just even clear the loan that they might have taken for the first semester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not a bad idea to begin the masters with a loan.
Mm-hmm. Right. Also, I was talking to one person, and they were like, right now you are a PhD student, and you don't have, you basically live in a bubble, and you haven't been to a real world. And you have been to a real world, you are doing job in industry. What is real world? How it
So,
is?
okay,
Like, is it
can you please
so brutal?
repeat the question again?
I'm saying like, so there was one person who was telling me that right now you are a PhD student, and as a student you are living in a bubble. You don't know how the real world is, and you have done job, you are doing a job in industry. So what is the real world actually like? Is it so brutal?
So so that person said the real world is brutal. What does it mean? Like that person is in the industry is brutal, or what?
It means like, for I'll give you an example. Like as a PhD student, we don't have a proper timeline to do like the stuff. We are like lenient. We don't have to follow a certain schedule. But if you go to a industry, you have proper protocols. And he was giving me examples like, there was one friend of him. He got fired because he didn't put certain things at proper place, like in the lab, which was like very basic thing that we forget when we are PhD students in a lab setting. But when you go to industry, these small things become very big, and you can even lose your job on those small things.
Uh, so one thing I would like to say is industry is very fast paced. So
Mm-hmm.
and let's say if companies are hiring a PhD student, they definitely expect a lot compared to what they expect from a master student. Because as you know, PhD is not like 1 year or 2 years. It's not like a diploma. You are trained for 5 years uh, under research advisor. So during the PhD, uh, like you will know how to manage many things. So in the beginning of a PhD, it looks like it's like a little bit of chaos. You
Mm-hmm.
manage teaching like through as the time passes, you manage the teaching, you manage the grading, you manage the proctoring, and you manage your research. And sometimes, as a PhD student, you even have to mentor an undergraduate in the research lab. So you manage several things. So, and like I said, if you are graduating at the PhD, and the industry will pay you a lot, right? If you compare to what is being paid in the academia for a postdoc. So if you are graduating with the PhD, they will definitely expect a lot. And as the industry is fast paced, you need to pick up things very quickly. And
Mm-hmm.
they also expect the results.
there are so many stories that I have heard from people, and they're like, if you are late in industry, and then you might face so many consequences. Like if you are late for even 5 minutes, you will face some consequences. It's not even expected. You can't take like uh, off for more than a week if you want to go back to India. Is it like true?
Uh, so that's why, like I mentioned, like there are. So it depends. If you don't have a lot of benefits, like so, you have a paid time offs, right? So if you don't have a lot of paid time off,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll be end up working, and your energy will be drained. So it's better to find a company where there are benefits, like where you get some paid time off. There might be even some companies they even have sick leaves in addition to the paid time off. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I never heard something like if you're late for 5 minutes. But let's say if you have a meeting, then if you are late for
Mm-hmm.
it, and then you might even have to present right in the meeting. So then definitely, yeah, you might uh, you might face some consequence.
Yeah. So when are you coming back to India? Like for how long you can come and visit?
So right now I have 15 PTOs, but that's 15 PTOs is like 15 PTOs plus I can take. I have if I take them continuously, then I have 6 days of weekend, right? It's 5 days, 5 days,
Mm-hmm.
5 days, and so I will have 21 days. Uh, I can go back for 21 days, but if I just like move my PTOs to next year, then I will have additional time, so I can go for a month.
That's a lot for a month.
No, actually, I
I'm
see
also
even
going for
people
a
who are in the
month.
industry,
So
they even go longer. So it depends. If you're in the beginning, then maybe like it might be a little bit hard because you just joined. The company will not. Maybe I'm not sure. So it depends, like how you also
mhm.
negotiate in the beginning. You can actually ask. So if you're selected, then you can ask them like, is it okay to go back to India or anyone like go back to their home country? Some some companies will say okay, but some companies might not be very happy with it. So
Mhm.
not every company is same, you know.
Yeah. So now you are doing job, and it just I was randomly thinking about this. Do you have any advice, like financial advice, for someone who is joining industry for a job? Like any advice, a financial advice?
Financial advice for someone who is
Yeah.
joining industry.
Yeah. I mean, who is doing a job basically?
uh, if someone is doing job in the industry, then definitely they'll be earning a lot, right? Than the one who is
Yeah.
in the than Warren who is working as a postdoc. I'm not sure
Mm-hmm.
what advice I can give. Maybe save money, invest in something, invest in yourself. I would say. I think I don't have any financial advice. I would say uh, rather than so when you're in the PhD, you will spend more time on research. I would say more on your professional, more professionally. Like you'll invest all your energy on your
Mm-hmm.
professional work, but not on yourself. I would say at least during the job, you should invest your energy wisely, uh, work, and also invest some time for yourself.
Okay. I don't have any more questions left. So, do you want to give any advice to the students who are coming, who are joining as a PhD students, or who are just going to graduate from PhD? Any advice?
Uh, I would so my strong advice is plan your things ahead. I think a lot of people will say, but if you actually don't just like put your plan things in the air, write them on a
Mm-hmm.
paper, or like that you want to do this. So you want to do this like by the end of this year or maybe by the end of this month. Uh, don't start preparing your resume all the way towards the end of your PhD. I would say should start this 1 year before, like going to workshop
Mhm.
at the university and try to tailor your resume and also have your research statement ready. So whenever you want to apply nowadays, some recruiters are asking for research statement as well. So don't just prepare one thing. Like try to have like many things at your hand so you can so you can be ready for it.
Okay, and any advice for the students who are just joining PhD, like who are thinking to get into PhD in US,
Uh,
who are still in India applying for PhDs?
uh, uh, for the people who are who in India, I would say yeah. I would say uh, PhD is definitely a wonderful opportunity. Yeah, don't miss it. Do it. For the people
Yeah.
who are just starting the PhD, I would say in the beginning everything seems to be a chaos. Don't get overwhelmed. Stay calm. Breathe. Uh, I think
Mhm.
you guys can do it.
Yeah, hope so.
Uh,
We can do it.
I would say it's better to plan ahead, and I would say write it on a paper or like maybe make a like Word document, like what you want to do. I think that will help you a lot. Actually,
Mhm.
I did this in the last year of my PhD. Maybe I thought then I realized, oh, maybe I could have done this much earlier.
Yeah, right now I'm in such a dilemma that when I first joined PhD, even I have told you maybe when we were talking that I really want to be in academia, not in industry. But now my thinking has changed. Now I want to be in industry, and it might change in like next 1 year as well because I haven't made up my mind. So when did you make up your mind that you want to be in industry?
Yeah. Okay, you might not believe, but even I thought of the same thing. I planned to go for a postdoc, but then again, like when I went to the ACS meeting, I went to a couple
Mhm.
of national meetings in the last 2 years of my PhD. So during those times, then I kind of like realized, okay, maybe like I would like to go to industry and see how it works. So
Okay.
I thought about going to industry in the last year of my PhD, I would say.
Hmm. I'm also going to one conference
That's a good.
this October in Waco. What should I do there? Like, I'm not presenting or I'm not doing anything. What would be your advice? Because this would be my first time going out there. Like, what should I focus on mainly?
I would say network, network, network. So first of all, I would say uh, first open the like I think you should check the events, like what kind of events are there, and if you're not
Mm-hmm.
presenting, you can yeah definitely you'll definitely go and see some seminars, but also try to see what kind of events are there and check what uh, what event like which event can benefit or which event is interested you are in. So I think like then you can make a schedule because when you go for a conference it's like 2 or 3 days and there are many several events going on at the same time or at different timings, so you actually need to plan ahead. For don't just go there without any schedule for yourself. There is a schedule for the event, but you need to have a schedule for yourself before going there. So then your day is organized and then your
Mm-hmm.
is productive.
Okay. I also have another question. I'm such a bad YouTuber. I haven't planned anything. I'm just taking interviews like randomly. Okay. Now I forgot what I was going to ask you. Huh. Uh, how many papers did you had during your PhD? Does have like papers help you in getting industry job, or is it something that it can help in only in postdoc?
No, it will also help you if you want to get a job in the industry, not just for a postdoc position. Because if you have a paper, then who is recruiting you, they will like they know that you made a document. You know how to.
Mm-hmm.
So they will know that you know how to write scientifically. So basically, they call it scientific writing. So you have a certain skill, right? So having a paper is
Yeah.
definitely a plus point if you even if you are going for industry. And some people even they ask that if you publish any paper, that will also show you that will kind of also show that you are productive, that you published a paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it. Let's wrap up this interview. I'm all done with the questions. Okay, thank you so much. And those who are watching this podcast, please like, share, and subscribe this channel. And see you later. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you for having